I have questions myself. I had many questions after 9/11. Could Flight 77, which reportedly hit the Pentagon, had flown back towards Washington, D.C. for 40 minutes without being detected by the FAA's radar or even the superior radar possessed by the U.S. military? Why did the Bush administration cover up the fact that the head of the Pakistani intelligence agency was in Washington the week of 9/11 and reportedly had $100,000 wired to Mohammed Atta, considered the ringleader of the hijackers? Did the Secret Service allow Bush to complete his elementary school visit, apparently unconcerned about his safety or of that of the school children? Let me again ask you this question. If you believe that about your government, wouldn't you want to find out who in our government was trying to kill innocent Americans? 3,000 innocent Americans? Wouldn't that be a top priority? You know, it took me about a year to start hating the 9/11 victims' families. I hate all of them. I hate probably about 10 of them. But when I see, 9/11 victim family, on television or whatever, I'm just like, oh, shut up. I'm so sick of them because they're always complaining. When I said that I was going to have you on, you can't imagine the mail, pro and con, that I received. There was a theme that ran against you, and that is you're a 9/11 truther.
Well, there's lots of mud that people would like to throw at Debra Medina and make stick. The truth is I'm an everyday, ordinary person. I am fighting for the things fought for, those very basic principles of a constitutional republic, and I'm going to champion people that hold their government accountable, hold me accountable. But that's the first time I've heard that accusation. So that's an interesting one.
Right. Here's then let me be more frank and ask you the question. Do you believe the government was any way involved with the bringing down of the World Trade Centers on 9/11?
I don't have all of the evidence there, Glenn, so I'm not in a place. I have not been out publicly questioning that. I think some very good questions have been raised in that regard. There's some very good arguments, and I think the American people have not seen all of the evidence there, so I've not taken a position on that.
I think the people in America might think that might be a yes.
Well,
do you have advisors? Do you have advisors? Or
I'm not going to take a position where
that's fine.
Good questions have been raised and they're not answered.
Do you have advisors that advise you, or people that are around you that are 9/11 truthers?
Not to my knowledge.
Would you, if you found out that there were, would you disavow them, like the president should have? But I mean, he escorted him out in the middle of the night. Van Jones was a 9/11 truther. If you found out that people around you or advising you were 9/11 truthers, would you disavow them or allow them to continue to advise you?
Well, that's a federal issue. We're very focused on issues in Texas, on Texas state government. I'm certainly not into mind control or thought policing people.
No, that's a pretty big one.
We've got a very diverse team in this state, and it is because Texans are standing shoulder to shoulder to support and defend the Constitution. I frankly don't have time to go through and do psychological testing on people and know every thought or detail that they have. I don't see us having a team of radical individuals, if you will. I think that there are certainly some that are looking, trying to use scare tactics. Are there?
No, I don't think there's a scare tactic. Deborah, you've answered the question.
Come and be a part of our team that have not gotten on the team. Absolutely, there are, but I can't.
I understand.
I don't know.
Deborah, you've answered
out of context, it's difficult for me to answer. I guess it would depend on how vocal they were about that and how much I thought it colored whatever other talent they brought to the table.
Yeah. Okay, Deborah, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and best of luck to you.
Thank you, Glenn.
You bet. Bye-bye. I think
problematic.
While I don't endorse anyone, I think I can write her off the list. Let me take another look at Kay Bailey Hutchinson if I have to.
Rick, I think you and I could French kiss right now.
Let me tell you something. He's a damn handsome man.
He's a damn handsome man.
Looks good in a pair of jeans.
Wow.
He's a handsome man.
Wow. The fastest way back to 4%. Holy cow.
I mean, I'm gonna hear from people in Texas.
Oh, no.
How can you take her? We just asked the question.
Ask the question.
Because we got all the rumors. I expected her to say, oh, absolutely not.
Even if you are a
that is
truther, there's
not
an
what she
easy answer
said.
to that, which is, of course not.
Absolutely not. I am not a 9/11 truther.
Well, no, but I mean, at least give her credit.
Yeah, give her credit. She told
Give
the
her
truth.
credit for. But you know
lie.
what? If you believe the United States government blew up the World Trade Center, there should be no other higher priority.
Yeah. And I don't want to hear
from
from
higher
you.
priority.
I don't want to hear from you. If you're a 9/11 truther on her side,
Yeah.
save your emails.
Yeah.
But our winner, Glenn Beck, getting more pub out of this transparent, holier-than-thou, hypocritical 9/12 project, which the New York Times today described as, quote, an initiative to reclaim the values and principles that he said were evident the day after the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks. On a special broadcast, he asked, whatever happened to the country that loved the underdog and stood up for the little guy? What happened to the voice of the forgotten man? Well, what happened to it was people like Glenn Beck killed it out of selfishness and prejudice and the hatred that boils in their souls. 2 days before the 4th anniversary of 9/11, Glenn Beck, Mr. Spirit of 9/12, went on the radio and said, quote, you know, it took me about a year to start hating the 9/11 victims' families. It took me about a year. And when I see a 9/11 victim family on television or whatever, I'm just like, oh, shut up. I'm so sick of them because they're always complaining. And we did our best for them. To Beck's credit, he noted to the Times, quote, if you take what I say as gospel, you're an idiot.
You every day, and I do support Debra Medina, so I mean, I'm obviously a Medina supporter, and I was really disappointed in that. I guess you could say that
in her answer?
I'm sorry?
You were disappointed in her answer or in my interview with her?
In the interview, down in Texas, it's brewing up. I mean, you've nailed it. You wrote the script over the years when you're talking about South. Well, I'm in South Texas, down in Texas.
Yeah.
We are just the people. We're very upset, and
I understand that.
And Debra Medina and all her policies, and you're normally a guy that cares about policies, and you've made. And we're talking about a governor's race for the state of Texas, and you're making the 9/11.
Wait a minute, Phil. Are you a 9/11 truther?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so you're excusing somebody who wants to run and have power. You're saying it's okay if they haven't thought through 9/11 enough to know whether the government of the United States of America killed 3,000 people.
Listen, you're intriguing. You're interrogating. You're
No, Phil. I'm asking you a question as a citizen of the United States. It's the same question I demanded that Barack Obama answer with Van Jones, but he wouldn't answer it. It is time for Americans to answer the damn question.
It is not our litmus test in the state of Texas, Glenn Beck.
What, are you out of your mind?
I have questions myself. I had many questions after 9/11. Could Flight 77, which reportedly hit the Pentagon, had flown back towards Washington, D.C. for 40 minutes without being detected by the FAA's radar or even the superior radar possessed by the U.S. military? Why did the Bush administration cover up the fact that the head of the Pakistani intelligence agency was in Washington the week of 9/11 and reportedly had $100,000 wired to Mohammed Atta, considered the ringleader of the hijackers? Did the Secret Service allow Bush to complete his elementary school visit, apparently unconcerned about his safety or of that of the school children? Let me again ask you this question. If you believe that about your government, wouldn't you want to find out Who in our government was trying to kill innocent Americans? 3,000 innocent Americans? Wouldn't that be a top priority?